are scared of shadows. Beginner filmmakers tend to overlight the scenery. They always think the corner on the scenery is a bit black. Shouldn't we brighten not everything a little bit up? When you check the exposures of one of your favorite shots probably, they are overall pretty dark. A lot of modern cinematographers light and balance their shots really dark. So this is the first shot we're looking at, and the first thing you will probably think is, damn, that's a really cool, moody and dramatic shot. But in a second hand, when I will tell you, when you was the person that put the camera up there and looked at a viewfinder, you will probably think, the overall ambient exposure is a little bit low. We're losing all of the information on this side. We have to somehow maybe turn the lights on top on and bring a little bit fill in the room. But why are you doing this? Because the job as a cinematographer is, first of all, make everything look cool. But the second most important thing is you have to underline the story and the emotion. And when you look at the real world, not everything has the same exposure. At the beginning, when you're in a dark corner and everything is moody, you only have street lights, your skin tones are not at 50 IRE. They're sometimes 20, they're sometimes 30, sometimes they're 90 when you got blasted by direct sunlight on the car. So you have to work the same way as the life and the emotion you want to tell also work. Just think about it. What is important in the scene? We want to see these people here. We want to see, okay, they're training here, they're training there. So everything that is here is for most not important. So there's no reason to actually show it. You can lift it up using a little bit more people, but when you extend your exposure on the other side of the room, your view will also change. Now we're just not looking at them, we look at also this part of the image. But I don't, and the cinematographer probably didn't want it like that. So they just used the sunlight. Maybe they put some extra light out there to blast it through the windows to get this nice texture, and that's it. The only thing they did is put a little bit of haze, as you can see that we get this light shafts across the scene. And also we got a little bit of color contrast because these lights tend to be a little bit more bluish, which really gives a nice color contrast to the overall warm colors in the scenery. And also to control the view even more, he probably put in Da Vinci a power mask around here and really darkened the corners. And with this technique, the viewer has no other option to look at this right angle around here. Also silhouettes. Silhouettes is always a big thing in modern cinematography, where it's just enough that you see, okay, there are people, they're doing the motion, because the people itself are maybe not that interesting to tell the story, because you already want them to focus on, okay, they're boxing, how far are they at their skill level, how they are moving. And if you just remove every sense of humanity from them when you don't light them, it's just a shadow. So you're not concentrating on, okay, how old is this guy or something different. You're just a person, doesn't matter. It's just you want to concentrate the viewer on the board boxing. This here is an outdoor scenery, and also here, as you can see, the skin on all of these people are very low in exposure. The reason for it is we expose for the sky. When you want this dark, moody outer look, you always expose for the sky here to counter the sun. Also try to always backlight your people, so position your person here and the sun has to be somewhere around here. With this technique you get a nice edge light on everyone, and also you get this moodier look, because when the sun is in the background you have to drop the exposure even more, and now the person becomes the darker layer. Normally you try to light a person and make the background darker, but it also works the other way around. And this is something you probably miss when you're shooting outside and think about your footage and ask yourself, why does my footage doesn't look as cinematic as other footage? Because they they concentrate more on the sky, that there's the right exposure, and not as much on the people. When you want to fill them, give them a little bit more light, we use bounce balls, go in for the close-up, and that's it. Then in combination with this really nice film look, I don't know if they're really shot on film, but it looks like it, or you use something like dehancer, this really underlines the look. This is practically the same scenery, but now in a building. As you can see, again, we always look for these leading lines. We have here a lot of leading lines that focus our view on the atmosphere and on the workers here. The overall commercial is about tractors, if I understood correctly, and they try to underline the manliness, power. That's the reason why we have this sports are showing and men with characteristics that work a lot in their life. When you want to make something feel real and authentic, you don't search models. They all could be models, but most of the time when you work in corporate, the people you need are most of the time there. For sure, you lose control over time. They are not prepared to work in front of the camera. There will be a lot of mistakes, but the overall look will be a lot better. And also here, as you can see, we exposed for the windows that they are not clipping, but that lends to that the whole scenery becomes really dark and contrasty. But do you think this looks bad? No, it doesn't, because we still have enough exposure here on the faces that, as you can see, they now look lit. Maybe there could be a window here that just blasting on these persons, because if you look closely, he doesn't get light from here, but the light should be clearly coming from here. So it could be that we have just one big key light or butterfly that's here somewhere where they're shooting light against them just to fill in that they're not completely dark. This is the scenery without fill, and as you can see, when you expose for the windows in this fabric, it really gets really dark. So how do you counter that? When you haze, you create another layer, and it really helps lifting up this crushed blacks that you have here in the foreground. The background looks a little bit more soft and natural, but this is the technique that you should use. Never, when you try to create a silhouette like this here, haze in front of the people. Always haze in the background to enhance the silhouettes. Also, haze breaks the light a lot so that we get a cooler tonality. And with the fire here in the foreground, we again get a little bit of color contrast. When you have a scene where it's overall pretty bluish or warmish, you try to implement some sort of blue or orange, it depends which is more present, to break the image a little bit, because otherwise it would look really washed out and flat. And again, if you look at the image, you sure would say, damn, that's really dark, but it looks really good, this crushed blacks. We don't keep here, the blacks are not secured, they are literally crushed all over the place, but it's not that bad because the scenery is cool, the setting is cool, and this corner, everything, this is not important. We want to watch the hero walk, where they're going to. I want to see the cool fire, and that's enough. That's the reason why the shot looks cool, even though we have a lot of crushed blacks in this picture. So if you enjoyed this video, I really would appreciate a subscription from you, and we'll see you tomorrow again.